Well, the search is still on for suspects more than 3 weeks after the Brooklyn mass shooting. Baltimore police looking into the possibility of at least 10 shooters that night. 18-year-old Aaliyah Gonzalez and 20-year-old Kylas Fagbemi lost their lives. 28 others were shot.
So far, only one arrest has been made. A 17-year-old is facing weapons and riot charges after social media video appears to show him pulling a gun out of a backpack before the shooting.
Now, Fox 45 News continues to investigate why more wasn't done sooner, as a former Brooklyn Day organizer says the block party wasn't always like this.
Rosalie Pack is sharing fond memories of what Brooklyn Day used to be. Mackenzie Frost has the story you're seeing first on Fox.
These photo albums are full of memories.
Those were the good old days. Stuff like that didn't happen in Brooklyn.
Rosalie Pack called Brooklyn Homes her home for 44 years, and she was in charge of almost every party.
We used to serve Thanksgiving dinner. We would have Halloween parties. We had, of course, the Brooklyn Day.
Smiling faces, families, a parade.
Brooklyn Day was the highlight of the year.
She says when she was in charge, she worked with the other people in Brooklyn Homes, as well as the Housing Authority of Baltimore City, to block off streets and organize the massive event.
Like I said, it's just one big old fun-filled day. 5 o'clock and they was out of there. They didn't have to go home, but they had to get out of there.
Packing up by 5, very different than the recent years of Brooklyn Day, partying stretching well into the night. One newspaper clipping, a little faded by time, shows former Mayor Kurt Schmoke at Brooklyn Day. The date, July 13th, 1988. 35 years later, to the date.
Good evening and welcome to the Public Safety and Government Operations Committee meeting.
City Council demanding to know how 30 people could have been shot, 2 young people killed in Baltimore's largest mass shooting.
Too many unanswered questions. Who did it?
Pack eventually moved out of Brooklyn Homes in 2015. She says she had some issues with management and a desire for a home with a balcony, but also drug activity and crime creeping into the housing development over the years.
Drugs had been going on for probably a year before I knew anything about it.
Fox 45 News uncovering the man who rented a U-Haul at this year's Brooklyn Day and rented the supplies for the party, the same person facing multiple charges accused of dealing drugs in Brooklyn Homes this year. Pack says the organization of the party now is part of the problem.
My biggest question is why would they take it upon themselves to do it on, instead of having it at the community center? It's a lot of responsibility. And having it in the community center, you got the manager, you got your service coordinator,
Sure.
You got housing authority, because some of them always came. Having it off-site, I just don't see as a good idea.
Sources tell Fox 45 News investigators found bullet casings on scene from as many as 16 guns. More than 3 weeks later, Baltimore police have not arrested anyone for actually pulling the triggers. Even though it's been a decade since Pack lived in Brooklyn, what happened there hits home for her.
Just so sad.
And she says she's hopeful someone who was there to celebrate the community speaks up about what they saw during an event with such history.
It's going to hit home. Something's going to hit them personally, and then they're going to sing like a songbird. That's what I'm hoping.
The Housing Authority of Baltimore City says the tenant council hasn't been active for a few years. That's the organization that would have normally organized the Brooklyn Day block party. Now HAB says they have a few people who say they're ready to participate. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Well, Fox 45 News is pressing for answers about Safe Streets' response to the mass shooting. The mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement admitting Safe Streets workers were at the block party before the shooting happened and did mediate some conflicts, but did not tell police about potential threats. During a city council hearing earlier this month, it was revealed Monzi had not yet reviewed those mediations, and the council could not get straight answers on how mediations are tracked or reported. So Fox 45 News pressed the mayor on that last week, asking for a blank copy of the form workers used to fill out following mediations. We also want to know what defines a mediation, who oversees the documentation of the conflicts, and what protocols are in place to ensure better communication among agencies about a potential threat. Those are just some of the questions we have. The mayor's office hasn't answered them nor handed over the form that we asked to look at. Now, Fox 45 News has heard from some city council members who say they want answers from Monzi. One council member even going so far as to say the city should withhold funding until those questions are answered.
Right now, I think that until we start to see transparency in data, I think that money should be held to a halt.
We have a responsibility to the citizens of Baltimore to hold the city agencies that the taxpayers are paying for accountable. And when you have an agency like Monzi that's role is to oversee the public-private public safety partnerships, and they're not doing that, there needs to be some clarity as to what exactly it is that they are doing.
The Fox 45 is also asking how the city is making sure employees aren't committing crimes while working for Safe Streets or Monzi. Fox 45 News has found a few instances of employees getting in trouble with the law, including Ronald Alexander. In his plea agreement, Alexander confessed to taking drugs from people in the community while working for Safe Streets. Cases like that fuel sharp criticism for the program.
Yes, my belief is that our city government is financing a criminal enterprise. I believe that within my heart. Our city government is so invested in it that it's turning a blind eye to what it really is.
Many of our viewers want answers as well. In a Fox 45 viewer poll last week, we asked, should the mayor answer questions about Safe Streets? 91% of those who voted said yes. You can find all of those questions that we have about the Safe Streets program and our original investigation on our website, foxbaltimore.com. I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.